What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the 12th Horseshoe podcast live on Surge Sports TV alongside my partner Elijah Weintraub. Jack Rizzo here with you guys tonight. Thank you, everyone, for joining. It's first time doing a show in just about 3 weeks. Last time we saw you guys was when we did our schedule update. Took a bit of a break, but now we are back with the latest NFL news the last couple of weeks. Eli, how are you doing? Happy summer break.
Happy summer break
over
for
now,
us.
and
For us.
yep,
Yes.
for us,
And,
not for everyone.
Not for everyone. Sorry, kids. Well, either way, I'm happy. We're less than 12 weeks away from the start of the football season. There's not much more I could say except football's almost here. Have about 10 more days, 7 days till summer for those people that love summer. Another couple months before winter. And yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. You're right, Eli. You're absolutely right. We are 12 weeks today from the first start of the season with the Ravens Chiefs kicking us off on September 5th. It's going to fly by. We have less than 6 weeks till training camp. It's going to go by very quickly. Once training camp gets here, we are going to be all good. But let's get right into it, though, with the latest NFL news. We'll start off with some NFL honors, some great quarterbacks of the 21st century getting honored by their teams. Of course, Tom Brady last night was inducted into the New England Patriots Hall of Fame and had his number 12 retired by the Patriots. I mean, there's not really much to say. Nobody more deserving. Greatest player in NFL history, greatest Patriot ever. And he's an icon for that, for basically the whole New England area. And I don't even really think the fans are upset at him for leaving anymore. I mean, he won them 6 Super Bowls. And considering the fact that New England was pretty much a joke before he got there, pretty remarkable what he's done, especially for a sixth round pick out of Michigan. But congrats to a great career on Tom Brady, and Canton is awaiting him.
Let's just say this. He is the greatest of all time. He is the GOAT for a reason. And I think I also need to clarify that he was a smart decision for coming back to the Patriots to retire his number and not stay with Tampa Bay to officially retire. So I just want to congratulate on him heading back to the right humble abode for him. And for Tom Brady, he's the absolute greatest of all time. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame, no question. And it goes to show you, by proving that he went to Tampa Bay and won them a Super Bowl, it goes to show that he really is the greatest of all time. And it did not matter who was the coach or who was on it. It was really the player. And it showed between him and Gronk as the two greatest of all time. And, of course, Tom Brady stepped up and was the greatest of all time, for sure.
Absolutely, Eli. That's a great point about the coach. Especially, a lot of people didn't think he could do it without Belichick, but he did. But yeah, just one of the greatest of all time. Another great NFL quarterback, though, is getting honored this season. Drew Brees will be inducted into the Saints Hall of Fame this upcoming season. He'll probably get his number retired at some point as well. Led the Saints to their first and only, as of now, Super Bowl title. Right. I love watching Drew Brees. I mean, he was the one who beat the Colts to Super Bowl. Now, I didn't really watch it because I was like 3. I was still, a toddler. But, I mean, I like Drew Brees.
I was a Seahawks fan at 3. And,
well, the Seahawks actually beat the Saints in the playoffs the year after they won the Super Bowl.
Oh, whatever, Jack.
No, I'm saying no. The Seahawks beat the Saints. Eli's saying whatever to his own team winning a playoff game.
Oh, whatever, Jack. We didn't like to brag. I meant is what I meant to say.
I was saying something good about the Seahawks, and Eli's like, whatever, but whatever. And that's pretty impressive considering the Seahawks were 7-9 that year in the regular season, had like the 6th worst defense, the 5th worst offense, and they still won a playoff game. How remarkable! But
congratulations.
Yep, one of the more underrated. Even it's crazy how he's underrated, to be quite honest. But one of the most underrated quarterbacks of all time, Purdue Boilermaker. He really defined, the fact that small quarterbacks can succeed in the NFL, and really, really happy for Drew Brees. Great player, great person. Good for Drew Brees.
He's a humble person and well-deserved player. He was great for the football. He won them a Super Bowl, and that's what counts. He's absolutely a Hall of Famer. He will definitely get his number retired. Congratulations on a well job done. But I just want to go back to Tom Brady for 1 second, Jack. I just want to see him go out of retirement and win the Carolina Panthers Super Bowl. I just want to see that happen.
Okay,
moving along.
Right. Yep. All right, so that is it for honors. Let's talk about some retirements that have actually happened the last couple of weeks. The most notable one is the tight end for the New York Giants, Darren Waller, who after just 8 seasons in the NFL and at the relatively young age of 31, calling it quits. I guess that's what playing 5 games with Daniel Jones does to you. But obviously, Waller's had some personal issues. It seems like he's been more invested in music than football. He's had personal issues. Calling it quits though. But there was a time though when Darren Waller was one of the best tight ends in the NFL. Was pretty fun guy to watch. Great story. Didn't really do much with the Ravens, but then went to the Raiders and really turned his career around. Congrats on a solid career. Like I enjoyed the days when he was a good tight end, but seems like personal issues got to him and he's retiring now.
And we obviously make sure that is a priority, and good for him for retiring. And congratulations on a well job done career playing in the NFL.
Absolutely. A couple other retirements. Steven Nelson, former cornerback, pretty solid player, honestly, retired last week. Center Corey Linsley of the Packers and then the Chargers retired, as well as kick returner, as well as special teams kick returner / receiver Pharaoh Cooper. All right, let's move on to contract extensions. Now, how funny, Eli. We were talking on before the show how I had seen a report that Trevor Lawrence was rumored to have agreed to a contract extension. Well, it just happened. It just broke just now. According to Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport, Trevor Lawrence, the man with longer hair than probably most women out there, to be quite honest,
wow,
is now the highest paid player in NFL history. He and the Jacksonville Jaguars have agreed to a 5-year contract extension worth, get this, $275 million, $200 million of it guaranteed. That is an average of $55 million a year. About half of it, $142, is fully guaranteed. This is a massive contract for a guy who has just one playoff win in his career, and a guy who's, I would say, had 2 mediocre seasons and one like above average season. But hey, the Jags clearly believe that this guy is the future. I mean, he is probably the best quarterback the Jags have had since in a very long time. But I think it's a little too early, though. I think they should have let this season play out and then extended him. But to be quite honest, good for Trevor Lawrence. I mean, hey, he's set for life, but we'll see what happens. So I think this is a bit of an overpay.
I hate it. I really do. Listen, don't get me wrong. What he did in that playoff run just a few years ago was phenomenal for Trevor Lawrence. However, it is not worth the contract extension. We see all the time with quarterbacks, when they get a high contract extension, highest in the league, they become to what I call downgrade. They play bad and they don't go to the playoffs, or they somehow miss it. Now, Joe Burrow was the first example that I'll bring up. Now, I am aware what happened with the injury, but he did not play to the level that we
don't forget Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones, another example. Again, a lot of these guys, highest paid in the league, and it backfired. In this case, the Jacksonville Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence, we have not seen improvement from Trevor Lawrence all season. And now to go to be the highest paid in the league, I think is not a great choice by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Congratulations on the money part to Trevor. However, I don't think the money is right. He has not won a Super Bowl. He did not make a good enough playoff run to say he deserves it. But, I mean, what are you going to do? That's their decision. They're going to be taking last place still in the playoffs and the standing run, in my opinion, though, for sure. And enjoy them Waffle House money. I guess that's going to be considered, right, Jack?
I guess so, Eli. Looking at Trevor Lawrence stats, I'm not really sure if this contract
is worth it.
Exactly worth it just yet. Maybe in a couple of years it could be worth it, but
not now, though.
As of right now, I just don't see it. I mean, he had 14 interceptions last year. That's not really that great. And considering the fact that he also missed a game as well.
That's true too.
Interceptions, not great. He didn't even finish, didn't finish a few games because he had some injuries. I just don't really know if this is worth it, Eli. As I said, good for Jacksonville, good for their owner, Shad Khan, willing to spend money.
It's good for now.
But I just don't know. And don't forget, Russell Wilson also after the contract played bad.
That's right. Money was not there, however. It just does not make sense. Wrong timing. He did not step up last year. I don't see him stepping up again this year. And now adding the money is just going to tell him, well, listen, now I'm the highest paid. Now I can just take it easy here. Let's just throw the football for fun now at this point. Now that guy got the Benjamin and the money.
This is a lot of money, Eli, for a guy who is, I believe, 19. Yeah, this is a lot of money for a guy who is 19 and 31 20 and 30 in his career in the NFL. So I think that a lot of money, but I mean, it's good for him. And
congrats on the money, but not worth it from the Jacksonville perspective.
I think it's pretty cool, though, to be honest, that we get like breaking news like that while we're live on the podcast. So, hey, I'm grateful.
That's all that matters.
All right, let's talk about another
Other
big contract
contracts.
extension. Let's go from the highest paid quarterback in NFL history to the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. Now, this one, Eli, I would say is very much more well-deserved. This is for the Minnesota Vikings. Justin Jefferson and the Vikings agreeing to a massive 4-year contract worth $140 million with $110 million of it guaranteed. $88.7 million at the moment of signing. Highest paid non-QB player in NFL history. Now, Eli, we could beg to differ, but I think this is a pretty well-deserved contract. The best receiver in the NFL when he's healthy.
When he's healthy, best receiver out there. And I think this is a well-deserved contract. I think the money is there and it's right. And I think it's a perfect contract. And I think the Vikings need the help. And I think that is a smart decision by giving him a big contract extension. 4-year, 140. Fantastic way to go. Not much more I could add here. I mean, I think that's a beautiful contract right there. And I think that we're going to see big improvements there from Justin Jefferson. It's a pretty big contract number, but I like it, though. I think it's well-deserved, however.
Yeah, totally agree. Best receiver in the game when he's healthy, brings so much to that team. Just considering, his personality, the plays he makes, one of the most marketable players in the NFL. And he honestly looks pretty good doing it in the purple and gold, and it's going to stay that way for the.
Now, will the money factor in because he's the highest paid non-QB player? Absolutely. We may see it in him. We see it all the time with quarterbacks when they're highest paid. I would not be surprised it does happen to Justin Jefferson. However, in the beginning run, should be a well-deserved contract, but towards the end, maybe even the end of the season, it may backfire in some cases.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Well, don't forget though that the contract doesn't kick in until next season because
that's true.
This year is the 5th-year option because he was a first-round pick. Let's talk about another receiver contract extension. Jalen Waddle for the Miami Dolphins. They agreed to a 3-year deal worth $84.75 million, $76 million of it guaranteed. I love this contract, Eli. One of the best wide receiver twos in the league. He and Tyreek Hill are going to continue to terrorize defenses for at least the next couple of years. This is a great contract, in my opinion, Eli. Definitely worth the money. Of course, set the rookie record for receptions, one of the most explosive playmakers in the NFL. Your thoughts, Eli?
I love it. I think that's a fantastic contract. Jalen Waddle definitely improved himself a lot. And I think it's a well-deserved contract. He's going to definitely benefit in the long run, and good contract. The pay is right, and it's not the highest paid. So I will see a good run in the future to come. And I think he's at the right team and the right quarterback and right in time.
One more wide receiver contract to talk about. Nico Collins and the Houston Texans agreed to a 3-year, $72.75 million extension, $52 million of it guaranteed. Again, pretty well deserved. Nico Collins.
I mean,
really good receiver. I mean, considering the fact that he might be like the wide receiver 3 on his own team is unbelievable, but that does not make him any less worth of the money. He is absolutely worth the money. One of the more underrated receivers in the NFL. He and CJ Stroud had tremendous chemistry last year. And yeah, Nico Collins, really good player. Not bad for a guy who was like a mid-round draft pick. So
this Texans team just loaded up to a whole new level, Jack. You have Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins with that contract extension. Wow, is what I have to say. Because Nico Collins is really that player. He stepped it up a whole new level last year for the Texans, and he was the number 1 guy to go to from CJ Stroud. And now he's going to stay there for 3 more years. CJ is going to be throwing to him a lot more. This is at the right moment, the right time, the right contract. I absolutely love it.
Could not agree more. Well, it was a pretty eventful week, Eli, pretty eventful last couple of weeks for Christian McCaffrey. It started off with a contract extension, a 2-year extension worth $38 million. Yes. $19 million a year puts him at the top of the running back market again. Great deal for McCaffrey. Great deal for the Niners. Great deal for Brock Purdy and the rest of the team. That offense runs through Christian McCaffrey, and as long as he stays healthy like he did last year, the 49ers are one of the most dangerous teams in the NFL. And not only that, Eli, we just found out this past week that Christian McCaffrey is the official cover for Madden NFL 25. This is the second version of Madden 25 because Madden's 25th anniversary was also called Madden 25 with Calvin Johnson. I think it was Barry Sanders was on the cover. McCaffrey's actually the first running back to be on the cover of Madden since Peyton Hillis. Remember him all the way back in Madden 12. So what is your thoughts, Eli, about the last couple weeks that Christian McCaffrey has had?
Wow. That's all I could say. Just wow. Like he had a wild ride. Nonetheless, cover Madden, pretty cool honor there. And to say that you're the face of the league now, and for video game players, that's pretty awesome to see. So congrats, and we'll see how it plays out the rest of the way. But wow,
Yeah, absolutely. One more contract extension for a coach. Mike Tomlin, the longest tenure coach in the NFL, the Super Bowl champion, head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, received a 3-year contract extension. Really well deserved. I mean, the guy's never had a losing season as the
that's right.
Steelers head coach.
Well,
So,
now it unfortunately, sorry to say, Russell Wilson's on your team, so that will not help you guys. Go Broncos this year. I mean, now I could root for them without any issue. I
not at week one,
mean,
though, because they played the Seahawks, actually.
well, except week one. Other than that, I could root for them without any issue.
Yeah. Hey, why not, Eli? All right.
Sorry, Steelers, I'm not rooting for you this year. I can guarantee you on that one.
Guarantee. NFL. Let's talk about some just like minor free agent signings. Going to go through these really quickly. Cam Sutton signed with the Steelers. Mercedes Lewis, the longest. He's had the longest career of any tight end in NFL history. Crazy to think. He re-signed with the Bears. Marcus May signed with the Dolphins. McCole Hardman, the man who caught the game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl, re-signed with the Chiefs.
If he didn't, we would have an issue.
Yeah. Logan Thomas signed with the 49ers. Sterling Shepard signed with the Bucks. And Alex Leatherwood, a former first-round offensive lineman, signed with the Chargers.
Yeah. I mean, well-deserved. McCole Hardman, if he wouldn't get that contract with the Chiefs, like the Bills would have to pick him up. He's that good. Like he caught it. He deserves it.
Hey, deep threat, he can play on special teams. Not a bad player to have on your team. All right, Eli. So mandatory minicamp / OTAs have been going on the last couple weeks.
Yes.
Most teams are in mandatory minicamp right now. Some teams, like the Colts, actually have already finished. There's been some interesting storylines here, Eli. The biggest one, of course, has to do with Aaron Rodgers, who decided to skip out on mandatory minicamp this year because, according to his coach, Robert Saleh, he had an event that was very important to him that apparently he had to miss. Keep in mind, mandatory minicamp. So he was not there. A lot of reactions around the NFL. Let me just say this, Eli. The NFL has the longest offseason of any other offseason. You have about 4 to 5 months to do whatever you want other than football. And the 3 days that you actually have something to do for football, you have an event. It really speaks to Aaron Rodgers' character, to be quite honest.
Yeah, and I don't know how long he's going to stay with the Jets. And it will last him play this season. That is a wow, is what I got to say. And do you really? I really think that he went to do political campaigning, even though he didn't say that he was not going to be doing political campaigning
RFK.
anymore. I think he still is. There's something telling me that he's out there doing something.
Who knows? He might.
And I know it's not no party either, or no Jersey Shore visit.
He might be doing, he might be chasing Bigfoot in the mountains. Who knows what he might be doing?
Right. Or he might still be in his retreat mode. We got to give him his privacy then, but still.
And then when we least expect him to, he'll just appear on the Pat McAfee show.
Jeez, you're right.
All right.
You're not wrong.
That's the biggest story of training camp. There's another big story, though, out of Cincinnati. 2 receivers looking for a new contract. Jamar Chase, I believe, was not present at OTAs. However, he is present for mandatory minicamp.
Yeah.
It doesn't really seem like that much of an issue. It seems like they're making progress on an extension, so we'll see when that happens. But the other receiver, not so much. T. Higgins is
no surprise.
He is the only player who's been franchise tagged who has not been traded or assigned an extension. He and the Bengals have until the middle of July to get a contract done, and T. Higgins has still not signed his franchise tender, so he cannot appear at mandatory minicamp. This feels like a holdout, Eli, that could last for quite a while. They don't really seem to be making much progress, and a trade is still very much possible between T. Higgins and the Bengals. There should be a lot of teams interested. I could see Buffalo being interested. Jacksonville could be interested. Maybe even a team like Carolina or the Giants could be interested. Who knows?
This could be a situation like we saw with Saquon Barkley last year. It took forever for a contract to happen with the Giants. It happened all the way in August, right before the preseason just got underway. So we could see the same situation here with T. Higgins in terms of a new contract or a potential trade. So I will not be surprised if the holdout continues on for a while. It's just, it's tough to see happen, especially that you want to continue to play football.
Yeah, T. Higgins extremely underrated. One of the better receivers in the game. Not even just one of the better wide receivers too, just one of the better receivers. Period. A couple other players missing mandatory minicamp. Eli, C.D. Lamb looking for a new contract with the Cowboys. Another Jets player, Hassan Reddick, looking for a new contract, traded from the Eagles to the Jets. Brandon Ayuk, that's a pretty big one.
It's a big
Did
name.
not go to minicamp. There's been trade rumors about him all offseason. It still could happen as well. I think the Steelers could be a really good fit for a guy like Brandon Ayuk.
No.
Maybe the Bills.
No. Who's going to throw to him? Who's going to throw to him? You don't know who your confirmed quarterback is. You have two of the top guys, which you don't know who you're going to start or bench, or if they're both going to be bust.
That's true, but good wide receivers make quarterbacks better. I mean, just look at the 49ers.
Right. Well, which quarterback, though? Because when you go to a team like San Francisco, you already know who your quarterback is. You know that he's going to drive you to success. You go to a team like, I'm just going to throw a name out there, the
Broncos,
the Texans.
Oh,
CJ Stroud is the quarterback. He can
actually. You know what, Eli? I take that back because I just realized that the Steelers' offensive coordinator is Arthur Smith. So the Steelers' offense is just going to be running it to, it's just going to be straight ISO handoffs to Najee Harris and drawing up trick plays for Van Jefferson. So
pretty much. And Russell Wilson's good at that because he did all that with Seattle. So we'll see if he continues to fail.
I mean, to be fair, Eli, Seattle runs an offense from like 1965. That's just kind of the way.
That was the Pete Carroll era.
I mean, it was good for them, but yeah,
it worked. Listen, it won a Super Bowl. I'm not complaining.
Yeah. Hey, it did. And then also Amari Cooper held up from camp. All the players who held up from minicamp are subject to fines, except for T. Higgins because he's on the franchise tag.
Right.
All right. Just a couple other quick notes before we wrap up here. Unfortunately, Pro Football Hall of Famer Larry Allen passed away during a family vacation in Mexico a few weeks back. He's 52 years old. Yeah, one of the best linemen of all time.
Yeah. It's
also
horrible to say.
Yeah. R.I.P. Larry Allen. We also had the Chiefs take their annual visit to the White House in late May. Joe Biden actually invited Travis Kelce up to the podium to speak.
And he began with "My fellow Americans."
Yeah. Could you imagine if Harrison Butker spoke? How crazy that would have been, considering everything that's been going on.
Listen, but there's nothing wrong with that situation. I mean, it's just freedom.
No, but it was just what everyone was talking about. Like what if they made Harrison Butker go up there to speak?
The media would attack him. The media would attack him. No question.
It's sad, but
it's horrible. Yeah,
it's sad. All right,
move along.
All right, so we had a bit of a debate last year about Hard Knocks for the summer training camp because it was the Jets. This year, it is the Chicago Bears that's going to be on Hard Knocks for
another bus, camp. Maybe.
We'll see. Caleb Williams. I guess we'll get to see what goes on there. But yeah, there's been a curse about Hard Knocks, so the Bears are not going to have a good season because of that.
They never were going to have a good season to begin with. Let's just
sorry, Josh. We also had a story out of Jacksonville. Brandon McManus was released from the Jags after a sexual assault allegation involving the team during a flight to London last year about alcohol being on the plane. We're not going to go any further than that, but that's just us reporting on what we know.
Moving along.
Yep. The Chiefs actually had to cancel practice earlier this week because backup linebacker B.J. Thompson actually had a seizure and then went into cardiac arrest during that week. Fortunately, he's okay. Thank goodness. But scary situation there in Kansas City.
It's horrible to see the more cardiac arrests keep popping and occurring. Hopefully, less happens and more health protocols do take place for the players' health and safety before they continue to play on.
We also have had early news on the 18-game schedule negotiations between the NFL and the players. We saw Colts NFLPA rep Ryan Kelly basically come out and say the only way we're giving you an 18 schedule is we get more money for our players. There's more money to go around. So
listen,
pretty tense
okay, I don't get it. I don't get it about the money though. And when you get more money, your team becomes worse because then they get more money. We see it all the time with a quarterback. I like the 18-game schedule. I don't believe in the money perspective of it. I just think that they just need to move on.
Well, if they do give an 18-game schedule, it'll probably be 2 bye weeks then. I think that's what they should do.
A double bye week, no bye week. Does it matter? No, not really. Because at this point, is it going to change anything? No, not really. When it's week 17,
it will, because it'll keep the players healthier. But
again,
anyways,
at this point, it just doesn't make sense. I don't know.
But anyways, they're
gonna have a whole off season to rest.
And we have been able to confirm that it's going to at least be a couple more years before you get an 18-game schedule to begin with. So
It's horrible to
enjoy
say.
this. Enjoy the 17-game schedule, Eli, for the next 3-4 years. But keep in mind, Eli, I mean, we used to only have 16 games, and the season would and the regular season would end before New Year's even came around. So I guess we have to be grateful for that. The Eagles and the Packers have actually been facing some issues about their scheduled game in Brazil because both teams were green, and they're like talking about like gang wars in Brazil because obviously the color of Brazil is green, and that they have to be like escorted to the stadium by like armored military
Yeah,
people.
I
But to be
mean,
honest, Eli, if that's the case, then why are you even playing a game in Brazil? Like, if it's that
exactly.
unsafe, then why are you playing a game? But that's
It
the
goes to
NFL's
show the
problem, not my
NFL just
problem.
only worries about the money, not player safety. That's basically the bottom line.
Well, if the NFL, well, we say that, but then they also don't. They also have turf on all the NFL fields.
That's true too.
The
Moving
NFL,
along.
they don't care about player safety. It's sad,
No,
but whatever.
it's yeah, we know.
Last point. Oh wait, actually, one point that actually broke out today was the tampering allegations against the Falcons and the Eagles. The Falcons were found guilty of like tampering with Kirk Cousins and a couple other of their players. They were fined $250,000. Their GM Terry Fontenot was fined $50,000, which he should have been fined for taking Michael Penix to begin with. But whatever. They also lost their 2025 fifth-round pick. To be honest, Eli, this is a pretty light punishment. I don't really think it's going to stop teams from doing it. It might
No,
actually encourage teams to do it. You can tamper with players. All you lose is like a fifth-round pick who has a very little chance of becoming an impactful player.
pretty much. So I think go for it.
Um,
Go team.
The Eagles were also found. The Eagles were actually not found liable for tampering with Saquon Barkley because of a lack of evidence, so there was no punishment for there. And the last point that we're going to make today: the NFL released their preseason national TV slate. There's a lot of
And the
games
rest
on
of the
NFL
teams as well.
Network. Yeah. Every team has their preseason schedule. Not going to go through all the games that are going to be on NFL Network. You guys can do that for yourselves. There's like 25 of them, I think.
Yeah.
But
So
we will go through the games that'll be on the main. Each of the NFL's main streaming platforms, like not ESPN Plus, not Peacock,
not
not
streaming
Netflix.
channel wise.
Yeah. Well, they're not all channels. Some of them are streaming services.
Amazon Prime Video is the only one.
Yep. There are 5. So each of the NFL's main TV partners will get one preseason game, starting off with the Hall of Fame game on August 1st. The Houston Texans will play the Chicago Bears in Canton, Ohio, 8 p.m. ESPN and ABC. So
No longer NBC.
Yeah, no longer NBC. It's on ESPN this year. Fox, we have a week 2 preseason game. The Saints at the 49ers, 8 p.m. on Sunday. Going to preseason week 3 on Amazon Prime on Thursday night. The Colts taking on the Bengals in Cincinnati. That's an 8 p.m. start. And then we have 2 games. The final Sunday of the preseason, one on CBS, Cardinals at Broncos, 4:30 p.m. And then one on NBC, 8 p.m. Patriots at Commanders. Well, the reason why
it's only preseason, it does not count.
Yeah, but they pick those games because like the rookie offensive players that are going to be playing in those games. That's why those games are on national TV. But anyways, Eli, that is going to do it for this episode of the 12th Horseshoe Podcast. Just kind of a recap of all the NFL's latest news. So thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Jack Rizzo, Elijah Weintraub signing off, everyone. We will see you in 2 weeks for the next edition of the 12th Horseshoe Podcast. Good night, everyone.
Seahawks go Devils.